Now, at this time, I want to read for our audience a brief excerpt of True Honor from my historical fiction novel, Old San Antone, Dawn of the Legend. To set up the scene, it's the Wild West in the year 1867 in Old San Antone, Texas. The main characters, Texas Ranger Captain Hondo Stone and Kid Carter, a British mercenary gunfighting gambler, have become friends, even if they are on opposite sides of the law. For they have more in common with each other than they have in common with others in their same professions. As such, they become unlikely allies in a battle against a powerful criminal organization known as the Jenkins faction, which Hondo is waging war against to bring justice to the city of Old San Antone that's subjugated under the oppressive iron fist of a tyrannical cattle baron named J.B. Jenkins. Hondo is alone, outnumbered, and has his back against the wall in this fight. He only has right on his side and his own personal code of honor to back him up. Until Kid Carter decides to tempt the winds of fate and take a hand in this deadly game, bringing his pal and gunslinging partner, Jesse LeBeau, with him in this moving, dramatic scene from my novel, Old San Antone. Kid Carter stated in complete honesty, "You know, mate, all my life I've been a sojourner, and I haven't done a bloody thing for anyone else but myself since I lost me old man so long ago. Point in fact, I haven't done a bloody thing that really mattered to anyone or the world in all that time. I've just been chasing fortune like a dizzy dog chasing me own tail. But what you're doing, Hondo, does seem to matter. Maybe not to the world, maybe not to anyone else left living, but it matters to the code." Having been listening all this time, Jesse LeBeau, who was a little confused, scratched the side of his head with the top of the whiskey bottle he was holding while he asked, "What code is that, kid?" Knowing exactly what Carter was talking about, Hondo answered for him by saying, "The code of honor, the code where a man keeps his word, where loyalty, trust, and friendship are bonds that can't be broken, where a man finishes what he sets out to do, even if it costs him his life, and where courage and valor ain't just words written down in some damn book, but they're the morals and foundations by which a man lives by, and when needs be, dies by." Kid Carter nodded and said with upstanding respect, "Right," as both men understood one another and knew that they both lived by the same code. Further down the bar, Jesse stopped rubbing his head with a whiskey bottle and took a swig of it before he asked with a wary tone, "What you trying to say there, kid?" Explaining himself more clearly to his pal, Carter replied, "Faith, Jess, I find the game this ranger's playing most interesting. I think I'm going to sit in and take a hand." Flaring his eyes in disbelief, Jess exclaimed, "Gadzooks, kid! You done gone plumb loco or something? I thought we was going to take it easy for the rest of this month. No more putting our lives on the line for dinero. And now you want to back this Rangers play against the entire Jenkins faction? You're drawn into a stacked deck, amigo, and all you're holding's a pair of deuces." In reply, Carter gave Jesse a slapping pat on his shoulder in good-spirited camaraderie and declared, "Maybe so, mate, but bedad, they're wild. Besides, Jess, we've already taken a side in this private war, whether we like it or not, mate. First by me turning down JB's offer to work for him, and then threatening his life." Nodding in full accord, Jesse interjected, You done got a point there, kid. Not to mention, we also stepped on the Jenkins faction's toes when we done rode into that fracas against them know-nothings what was fixing to brace this here ranger." Agreeing with both of them, Hondo jumped in to say, "Reckon you're right there. After siding with me tonight against this pack of bushwhackers, this is going to seal the deal in JB's eyes, but it still don't mean you have to take a hand in this here game." Kid Carter was unmovable in his decision as he said, "Well, since we're already in the midst of a war, we might as well charge towards the guns instead of trying to avoid them. Like me father, Captain Shanghai Jack, used to say, orders be damned. We sail to victory or the devil. Either way, will take honor and glory with us. Moved by his partner's daring fighting spirit, Jesse proclaimed with enthusiastic zeal, "Y'all can count me in, kid. You don't think for a minute that I'd up and let you run into a hornet's nest of trouble without me, would you? Not after all what we've been through together. We're partners, kid. 50-50. That means we share and share alike, both in riches and in danger. Besides, you'd done get bored if I wasn't around to help keep things lively." Giving his friend a nod of respect and recognition, Carter said with a grin, "Cheers, Jess." The kid then added, "Well, Ondo, looks like you just odd yourself a couple of professional soldiers of fortune. Deal us in, mate." Putting out a halting hand, Hondo sternly responded, "Whoa there, now wait a minute, kid. I ain't never said nothing about hiring no one. I don't work that way." Carter interjected, "No worries, mate. Contrary to the popular belief that I only fight for money, nothing could be further from the truth. I'm not doing this for money. I'm fighting for free on your side for the same reason I turned down JB's offer of $5,000 to fight for him. Because I choose honor over money. That's why I'm choosing you over him." Explaining the situation in no uncertain terms, Hondo kept on talking. "I appreciate that, kid. More'n you know. But you're jumping off a cliff when you don't need to. I can handle my own problems myself. I don't need anyone's help. I reckon any man who has to count on other folks' help to get the job done ought not to set out to do a job in the first place. I set out to do this alone. I reckon I can finish it alone." Undeterred, Kid Carter understood where Hondo was coming from, and he respected that. Truth be told, he expected that sort of a response from a true man of honor such as he. It was just the kind of thing that made Hondo a hero to begin with. But Carter wasn't willing to take no for an answer. He wouldn't give up now that he'd found a friend and a cause to believe in. To be perfectly honest, the kid couldn't care less about helping the oppressed citizens of old San Antone. And he wasn't doing this just to spite J.B. Jenkins, whom he couldn't stand, or to serve some kind of misguided sense of law and order for the great state of Texas that never did anything for him in the first place. Last but not least, he wasn't even thinking about doing this to stand up for justice. What Kid Carter was willing to risk his neck and even lay down his life for was the belief and ideal that heroism still existed. And he was willing to bet it all on Hondo, regardless of the odds. Because if Carter could win this gamble, then not only would he be able to vindicate himself in helping to save the life of what might actually be the last living hero in existence in that cynical, disillusioned age known as the construction era, but he could actually become one himself and regain the honor of his namesake. To go from a mere soldier of fortune, living only for money, to be a hero himself, doing it all for honor and glory. Just like one of the favorite lines of Tennyson that he admired so much. "In some good cause, not in my own, to perish, wept for, honor known." Maybe it didn't matter to the world. Maybe it didn't matter to anyone else. Maybe it didn't even matter to the ghostly spirit of his late father. But it sure as hell mattered to Kid Carter. With this in mind, Carter explained himself with admirable honesty. "I respect your integrity, Ondo. Faith, I'd expect nothing less from you. You're a man of honor, and be dead, that's a rare thing these days. I know you don't need anyone's help, but that doesn't mean you can't use it, eh? The cards have already been dealt, mate, and we've already taken a hand. You said so yourself. The stakes have been raised, and we're not about to fold now, then. Not with the wild cards we're holding. Besides, Ondo, regardless if I help you now or not, the Jenkins faction's going to be out for me blood anyway. So either way, I got to take on JB and his scurvy crew of cutthroats or leave town. And I bloody well happen to like it here, mate, for a multitude of reasons. Since we all have the same enemy, we might as well team up together, Hondo. After all, 3 aces are better than 1, eh? So I'm afraid you're stuck with us then, mate. Being a trustworthy man, Hondo wanted his new friends to know just exactly what was in store for them, as he remarked in a forthright tone. Listen, gambler, I'm going to talk straight tongue and put all my cards on the table so you can fully understand. It ain't that I don't want your help, because I reckon you prove time and again just how right-handy you are in a fight. But before you raise the stakes any higher, I just want you to know what you're getting yourself into. I owed you at least that much. Now, you and I might be paddling along in the same river. We ain't exactly in the same canoe. I'm committed to seeing this thing through to the end, no matter what. But there's still time for you two to get the hell out of here alive, with your scalp still on your heads. And ain't nobody to blame you if you did. This whole feud with the Jenkins faction's my business, and no one else's. I'm the one what started it, and I reckon it's up to me to finish it. I set out to deliver Cy Jenkins to the hangman's gallows up in Austin, and by God, that's just what I aim to do. Even if it had to take on half the damn city old San Antone to do it. And even if it costs me my life, it don't matter much to me. I'll get the job done, even if I have to do it alone. I always have. Kid Carter said. You won't have to do it alone, mate. You got 2 wild cards with you. Though what sort of a winning hand will make of it be dead, the devil himself only knows. Putting out a halting hand once again, Hondo wanted to be fair with his newfound friend, as he bluntly remarked. Before you commence to waving flags or singing battle hymns of the Republic and cheering for the 4th of July, there's a few things I want to make perfectly clear to you, kid, in no uncertain terms. And that's friend or no friend. You don't have to do this. You ain't got no obligations to no one but yourself. No matter what anyone else says, this ain't your fight. Appreciating the extent to which Hondo was willing to go to in order to keep with the code as a just and honorable man, Carter understood the validity of what he just said, but chose of his own free will to remain with him by replying, right. Continuing to bring up another compelling point, Hondo stated, you don't stand to make any money in this by taking a hand. Once more, Kid Carter understood, but chose to stay, as he again replied, right. Hondo crossed his arms and kept on telling it the way it was. Odds are I probably can't win this fight. And if you back my play, there won't be any fortunes to be had nor any glory in it for you. Again, the kid acknowledged these facts and simply responded, right. Putting a hand to rest on Carter's shoulder, taking him into his full confidence, Hondo finally brought up the most important point of all by starkly adding, I reckon we'll most likely all get killed. Accepting that possibility, Kid Carter smiled with a daring look of tenacity and said, right. Thank you for taking the time to share this moment with me and with my characters, Hondo Stone and Kid Carter, for my historically accurate, wild Western novel, Old San Antone, Dawn of the Legend. Available on Amazon for free on Kindle Unlimited. What a deal! I do hope you'll give it a read, because everyone, and I do mean everyone, needs a hero they can believe in. You can truly believe in a hero like Captain Hondo Stone, Texas Ranger, because he's without a doubt the true definition of what it means to be a man of the code.